Welcome to the Author Ross Gallery, to Many Voices, Many Visions. My name is Gigi Gravina, and I am the student gallery intern, and this is my student-led tour of the exhibition. So this is one of my favorite pieces. It's the one that's on the brochure. It is Bruce Davidson, who is an American-born photographer, born in 1933.
This photograph, Arrest of a Demonstrator, Damn the Defiant, was captured in Birmingham, Alabama during the peak of the Civil Rights Movement demonstrations of 1963. The resulting print of a young African-American woman's arrest, coupled with the phrase suspense, excitement, and the Damn the Defiant, mounted in the background on the movie theater marquee, represents the resilience of a call to end racism. The young woman's courage, resistance, and strength are all expressed through her powerful body stance and facial expressions. The parallel drawn between similar images appearing in the news now, almost 60 years later, emphasizes how the time of change is perpetually now.
This is a multimedia archive of imprint by Judy Gellis's. It's entitled Get Shot.
Judy Gellis's Get Shot is a digital photographic print from her series entitled Fourth Grade Project. Inspired by her volunteer work in Philadelphia public schools, Gellis selected students from around the world over 10 years and posed 3 questions. Who do you live with? What do you wish for? And what do you worry about? The response of a boy in Get Shot brings to light contemporary issues facing our modern world and the footprint of the social justice movement, such as gun control, on the next generation of 4th graders. Faced by both the pandemic and protests of 2020, Gellis's print from 2014 provides an unseen perspective of how the world's social justice issues affects the younger generation and cause the loss of their innocence. Shirin, Neshat's Ghada and Saeed are 2 of a series of portraits that explore the repercussions of the Arab Spring protest in Egypt during 2013. They can be viewed in conversation both together or individually. Each has unique qualities which create a powerful connection between the viewer and the artwork. And these images explore how human emotion, through direct eye contact, is expressed and their stories shared. Raising awareness about this problematic international issue of the last decade, Ghada and Saeed offer a way of communicating personal experiences through their facial expressions, creating a unique frame of reference for the Arab Spring.
Untitled Film Still Number 32 is produced by Cindy Sherman. She is an American and born in 1954.
One of 70 photographs in which Sherman poses as different female film characters. Stylistically, they mimic the vintage movie star aesthetic used as marketing material for various films. Sherman portrays women in this 1979 series at a time of transforming gender roles and the women's liberation movement. Following the themes of many voices, many visions, the human condition is represented through Sherman's composition and stylistic choices, and her decision to express herself and women in a liberated light.
Church of Wounded Knee was produced in 1969. It is an Elliot Erwitt gelatin silver print. Elliot Erwitt is a French-American artist who was born in 1928.
Erwitt's print of the Church at Wounded Knee at first appears a calm and serene depiction of a landscape. However, Wounded Knee is located in South Dakota on the Lakota Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. It has a turbulent and stormy history. It was the site of the 1890s massacre of nearly 300 Lakota people. Also, in 1973, it was the site of a confrontation between U.S. officials and the American Indian movement, who demanded early 19th and 20th century treaties be honored. With the knowledge of the Wounded Knee's history, this image dramatically changes, with a sense of tension and apprehension. This landscape holds a picture that defines this place.
This is a Robert Rauschenberg entitled Watermark. It was produced in 1973. It is a color photo screening with varnish. Robert Rauschenberg is an American artist who was born in 1925 and passed away in 2008.
This collection of cultural influences includes a racehorse in motion, a Rococo mirror, and the images of crowds that seem to merge to create a very succulent but also disorderly energy. There is also Botticelli's Primavera that is located on the right side of the print and is attached together with the appearance of sticky tape to another set of fractured photos. And this fractured composition alludes to the chaotic nature of the human condition.
So this is William Hogarth. He is a British artist who was born in 1697 and he died in 1764. This piece was produced in 1755.
This piece is entitled An Election Entertainment. It is an engraving which depicts a tabard scene in which two Whig candidates instill themselves with their supporters, while the opposing party throws a brick through the window and strikes a person in the fray. This composition is very overwhelming, and it reveals the corruption that took place in the election at the start of our country.
So this is one of the newer acquisitions in the exhibition. It is a woodcut relief and digital pigment by David Driskell. It is entitled Mask Series 2, and it was produced in 2019.
Driskell's Mask Series 2 is born from Mask Series 1, which consists of a collection of black and white woodcut reliefs. Driskell's famed use of color for expression is used in this series, and this series was also a collaboration with the master printer Curly R. Holton, whom Driskell formed a long-lasting friendship with. He sadly passed away in 2020 due to the coronavirus, and his Mask Series 2 is a reflection of the vibrancy of his legacy.
This is entitled Ascati Apache. It is produced by Edward Curtis, who is an American artist. He's a photographer.
It is one of the 20-volume set entitled The North American Indian, which contains over 1,500 photographed prints. And Edward Curtis began photographing these indigenous people west of the Mississippi River in 1880 with the belief that they were a vanishing race. So these images are carefully crafted to remove the evidence of modernity.
This is a Bruce Davidson silver gelatin print. It is entitled Crowds Pack the National Mall. It was taken in 1963, and it was during the famed I Have a Dream speech by Margaret BourkeWhite.
In 1961, Bruce Davidson traveled to Montgomery, Alabama, and Jackson, Mississippi to photograph the Freedom Riders bus trip. And this trip results in Davidson actively participating in almost every civil rights movement until 1965. And on August 28th, 1963, he documented the March on Washington and Martin Luther King's famed I Have a Dream speech. Depicted in this print is the mass crowds of support at peaceful protesters that were and it is similar to the viewpoint MLK would have had when he said those famed words. This is a silver gelatin print taken by Margaret BourkeWhite in 1947. It is entitled Exodus, Pakistan, and she traveled to India in 1947 in order to photograph the migration of refugees between the East and West Punjab. And in this image, it is an image of a human caravan of refugees in Punjab. And although the photograph is known to have been carefully composed, the immigrants' faces reflect this despair, chaos, and fear of the human tragedy.
So this kayak was made by Rafael Ferreira in 1977. It's entitled The Magnetic North, and it is made out of galvanized steel.
Rafael Ferreira is a Puerto Rican artist who now lives in America, and this kayak represents his many journeys between his home country and America. Thank you so much for joining me on this tour. I hope you got to experience some of the powerful voices represented in Many Voices, Many Visions. This exhibition is one of my personal favorites, and as a student, these are the pieces that I personally selected to share with you all. So thank you so much for joining me.